G'day everybody, my name is Elliot Waters and you're listening to the Dysregulated podcast. As always, thank you for tuning in. Time for another fortnightly check-in. But before we do that, if you're enjoying the show and if you want to support me going to therapy and keeping ads off this podcast, please join the Dysregulated membership on Patreon. It's just $10 a month and the money will go towards helping me stick to therapy and be able to afford that and my medications, and also pay the fees associated with this podcast so we don't have to put ads on, because I really don't want to do that. So please join the Patreon. There'll be exclusives there as well at patreon.com/Elliot Waters. All right, so fortnightly check-in. How are we going? We're not going too bad, although we've had a bit of a hiccup. So speaking of money, until I got paid yesterday, I was in a very poor financial situation. Like I'm saying $10 to my name, that sort of stuff. And this isn't $10 to my name, but in my savings account, there's 15 grand. Like I'm talking literally $10 to my name. And as a result, I couldn't get my script of clomipramine that all of a sudden was due as well. So I went 4 days without clomipramine, which is probably my main medication, the tricyclic antidepressant, which is good for OCD, those obsessive thoughts, as well as anxiety and depressive symptoms as well. But not a good idea ever to just go cold turkey off medications. But unfortunately, that's what I had to do for 4 days because I couldn't afford to get the next round, the next script. So please join the Patreon. But anyway. So that was a bit challenging. The first 2 days were fine, but then day 3 and day 4 of not having the clomipramine, all of a sudden, the old obsessive thoughts came back again in a big way. So that was tough, but we got through it. We've had the medication now, and we're moving ahead. And it wasn't just that either, cognitive sort of stuff. It was physical as well. So I was starting to get the brain zaps and I was very nauseous and just sort of dizzy, sort of like a vertigo sort of thing happening. They're symptoms I've had before when I've selectively titrated off, say, SSRIs or SNRIs, but I haven't experienced this with the tricyclic before, and I don't really want to experience it again. So the obsessive, negative, intrusive thoughts started to come back in because those walls that clomipramine builds up for me were crumbling because there was no clomipramine left. And not only that, there were some physical issues going on as well. But the good news is I've been paid and now I've got all my medications. In fact, pretty much all of my medications were due at the same time, which doesn't usually happen. Usually they're on sort of different time frames. Some go for a month, some last 2 months, that sort of stuff. And it all depends a lot on dosages as well. But almost all of my medications cycled around together and were due together. So I went to the chemist yesterday once I got paid. It cost me $230 for my medications, $230. Unbelievable. So once again, if you could join the Patreon and just give us $10 a month, that would be great. Anyway, but yeah, it's very expensive. I'm very high maintenance. But the good news is, like I've said before, this time it appears the medications are actually doing their job. I'm starting to get that edge back, starting to get that confidence as well, which is great news. So, $230 is expensive, but it's well worth it if we have peace of mind and we're feeling confident in the world and we're proceeding in a way that will guarantee us success, whatever the hell success is. I haven't been to therapy for a couple of weeks now, and again, it's because it's very expensive and I just do not have the money to go to therapy at the moment. So once again, if you sign up to the Patreon, you will be helping me stay in therapy. But anyway, and that's been difficult because I've been looking at jobs outside of Newcastle. I'm thinking it's time to leave Newcastle again and spread my wings and see what else is out there. But these are sorts of decisions that you really want to make in conjunction with your psychologist or therapist. So it's been a bit hard navigating that sort of potential way forward without the guidance of the objective psychologist or therapist. So that's been a bit of a problem. I haven't made any rash decisions, which is good because in the past, the impulsivity, rash decisions, have been a big part of my story. But this time we're just sort of sitting back, chilling and waiting for the opportunity to talk this through with my psychologist and then we'll figure out what the best way forward is. What else has been happening since I last checked in? I think that's mostly it, really. We're sort of just in the grind, we're doing our 3 days a week sort of thing, and, the medications, we're ticking those boxes. One thing I did succeed in doing yesterday, now this deserves celebration because I haven't been able to accomplish this in years. Like, I reckon, I can't even remember any other time when I've been able to say that both my room and my car, so my two main living spaces, both of them are tidy, clean, and orderly possibly for the first time ever. So my room, you walk in, bed's made, nothing on the floor, clothes are all put away, there's no rubbish or anything. Everything, even the bin has been emptied. It is beautiful. I washed the sheets, I washed all the clothes, everything. So my room is like a little oasis, and not only that, my car is as well. So I got all of the refuse out of my car, which again was clothes. I've got so many clothes, I need to chuck clothes. But full of clothes and, wrappers and all that sort of stuff. So I got rid of all of that. I took all the bags out that I had that have, again, clothes in them. And that was part of the washing and putting them away in my room. So that was good. I even, wiped down all the surfaces and put upholstery cleaner on the seats and everything. Like, my car is looking beautiful, and so is my room, and it is a great feeling to be able to say that both of my main living spaces are orderly, tidy, and a pleasure to be in. Unbelievable. And, those of us with ADHD will be thinking, yeah, I know that feeling, because it's just, I read something the other day, I'm going to probably butcher this, but I'll see if I can explain it. And it was about ADHD, and the idea was that now neurotypical people, I don't really know how you guys operate, but the idea was that when it comes to, doing your bed or brushing your teeth or cleaning a room or whatever, people that don't have ADHD can sort of just do it without thinking. It's almost autopilot, it's one of those automatic responses, something on the floor, put it away, that sort of thing. But people with ADHD, we need to sort of plan this task, and we've got to be really engaged and sort of work through it step by step. There is no automatic, natural response to these sorts of things. We need to create a task with goals and a way to implement it and finish it. Just for picking up clothes. Obviously, picking up something off the floor isn't, you don't write down the whole plan and step by step, it's not that sort of serious. But at the same time, that's the whole problem. We don't just automatically do these things. We need to really think hard about it to be able to, complete these things that other people just take for granted and just do it. And I thought that was amazing. I'm really liking reading that sort of stuff at the moment because it's really validating my experience, because, the whole imposter syndrome thing has been, maybe this is because I haven't been on the clomipramine consistently over the last fortnight, but my imposter syndrome sort of come back in a big way. And a lot of it was to do with, do we actually have these mental illnesses? Is there anything actually wrong, or do we just need to grow up and get on with it? So reading these they're just Instagram posts, that come up on my feed because, Facebook and Instagram know that, that I'm sort of obsessed with psychology and stuff. So, they're just coming up, these posts, but they're really, really validating, because it's like, yeah, that's how I feel. That's amazing. And even me, the host of the Dysregulated podcast, I need that from time to time just to make sure that we, are comfortable with what's going on in our perceptions of the world, and that we know that, things might be a bit different for us, but at the same time, there's ways through it, and we can work through and still achieve the things that we want to achieve. And that's very, very important. All right, that's enough from me. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I do appreciate it. And I hope you guys are going well too. Feel free to reach out and let me know how you're doing. I love that sort of stuff. As I said at the top of the show, if you want to support me and the podcast, please go to patreon.com/Elliot Waters, and you can sign up for the Dysregulated membership. It's only $10 a month, but I'll tell you what, every dollar counts in my world at the moment, so any donations or support would be greatly, greatly appreciated, trust me. All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you here next time on the Dysregulated podcast.